So whether you have a puppy now or whether you're getting a puppy in 2 weeks and you're hoping to get all the information as much as you can, set yourself up for success, get them started off right. Or you're thinking about maybe getting a puppy next year. What is the information you can do? Follow these 5 steps. %60 of dogs will develop cancer at some point in their life. Many of you are gotten new puppies or thinking of getting new puppies during this time. So why is that statistic important? Because you're like me. You don't want your puppies to get sick. You don't want them to develop cancer. So that's why it is the most important thing from day one to start your new puppy off right. I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, the natural pet doctor. Thank you for joining us for our weekly coffee talk with the doc. Today, I'm really excited to talk about getting a new puppy. And this qualifies you if you have a puppy and you're like, where do I start? How do I help them? What can I do? Help me, Dr. Katie. So we're going to talk about the 5 pillars that you need to be looking at when you're first thinking about getting a puppy, or you have a new puppy and you want to start them off with a holistic approach, because I don't want your pet to be one of those that becomes a statistic. I've been there, 3 pets now, and I want to help you prevent your pets from developing disease, developing cancer. So we need to start things right from the very beginning. These are the things I would have changed with my dog Finn. We didn't start him off on the right foot. I thought I did. I was in vet school and I thought I was doing everything right. However, he developed a brain tumor and everything else was good about him. And if I could go back, I would change some of these things that we're going to talk about. So save your questions for the end. And we're going to go through the questions you have in regards to raising your puppy, or even if you're thinking about getting a puppy, what are those most important things that you need to know to set yourself up, set your puppy up for success in a long and vibrant life? Who here is excited about that, right? This is the key. These are the key things that we can do to help those puppies. And don't worry, we're going to have another coffee talk about kittens. So don't worry, we've got the cat lovers out there, but this is going to be focused on dogs today. And shout out if you got a puppy, if you like what breed you have. I would love to hear from you and see, okay, we've got these different breeds. What are maybe some of the other conditions that these puppies may be prone to? So let's start with number one. Number one key, one of the main pillars of the thing that you need to be aware of when you're looking at getting a puppy: research. Probably didn't think I was going to say that. However, this is a broad topic, and this should be starting before we get the puppy. Before, when we're starting to think, okay, what do I want? What do I need? This is currently kind of where I'm starting to go for next year when we probably decide to get a new puppy. So that's great. Like, new puppy in 2 weeks. Fantastic. So this is perfect. But what we need to be looking at, and I'm loving that I'm seeing all these new puppies that are coming into people's lives. And so many people adopted puppies or rescued puppies or brought new pups into their homes during the whole pandemic, because they brighten our lives. They're so exciting, but it's a new baby. They're hard work. So research. What do I mean by research? So doing your research. This means, I see this happen all the time with pet parents. Like, this puppy, I was at a pet store and I thought it was the cutest thing. And I was like, yes, I'll bring home this Australian Shepherd. And you're bringing home this high energy puppy into a family that maybe doesn't do a lot of activity. And so this is one part of the research. What type of breed are you looking at? What are the energy requirements of that dog? Does it fit into the activity levels of you? Would you be able to handle a husky who wants to run 15 miles a day? Or those high energy herding dogs that if they don't get the energy out, they destroy your home, or they can develop neuroses and they chew on their legs and they start spinning in circles. So that's important. What breed are you looking at getting? What are their needs, the requirements of that breed? What are the activity levels? Can you fulfill those needs? This happens all the time where you get a dog and all of a sudden you're like, I can't fulfill its needs. And then they go back to the shelter. And that's so sad. So we need to be thinking about those things. What are health concerns? What if you're getting a dog from a breeder? Have they done the genetic health testing? A lot of times I will hear pet parents say they're AKC registered. And I'm like, great. Anyone can sign the papers. There could be fraud. I'm not saying all AKC registration is bad. I'd rather see that than nothing. But what are the testing recommendations for that breed? So how you find out what they should be doing for that specific breed, there is a website called CHIC, so Canine Health Information Center. They work alongside OFA, so hip, elbow scoring goes through usually OFA or pen hip. And you can go to this website and check the recommendations for specific breeds. And then you can see and ask that breeder, okay, this breed is prone to hip and elbow dysplasia. Did you do hip and elbow scores? Can I see them? And you should be able to get the entire lineage scores. And you can see, does this disease run in this line where my puppy is potentially coming from? Now you can still go down the path of getting these pets, but this is going to set you up for better success, less healthcare costs, and a happier and healthier dog throughout their life. So not only is there hip and elbow scoring and testing, so x-rays, pen hip is a common procedure, it's not a procedure, but the way that we analyze the hips, that's very sensitive for picking up hip dysplasia developing later on in life in young animals. And so we need to be asking breeders for this information. Great breeders are doing this. I used to work in a clinic where we did lots of breeding, and we had fantastic breeders that were more involved in improving the breed rather than making money from it. That is the difference between a good breeder and a bad breeder. They want to improve the breed. So let's say Finn. Finn was a German Shepherd, purebred German Shepherd, hips and elbows, notorious, right, for hip dysplasia. So his breeder actually bred dogs for the New Zealand police workforce. So she did all the things because she had to. They were a working dog. And so I had all the hip and elbow scores, and I'm much more knowledgeable now than I was 12 years ago when we bought Finn. And now knowing the Chick website, you can go and see, is this breed prone to eye problems? You can ask the breeder if they've been checking for eye issues, going to the ophthalmologist, making sure that there's not things like retinal degeneration in certain breeds and other eye concerns. So go through those lists. It's very interesting, and it will help you to be prepared for what can happen if you're thinking of getting certain breeds. Also, do you have small children? Like, what is your family situation? If you have small children, kids, what are good family breeds? That's why golden retrievers are so popular, because they're a great family dog. Also, Labrador retrievers, they're a great family dog. So, however, if you have really young kids and you have really high energy dogs and they might be nippy or have you have to be careful with certain breeds with small children. You just have to, these are things that we need to be watching for and looking for. The other thing to do beforehand, because you will need a vet at some point in your pet's life. That's just usually a fact. And I know I'll hear outliers, like pet parents say, I've never had to use a vet. I will never use a vet. And I don't agree with that. Yes, I'm a vet, and I'm not coming from a place of making money from pet parents. We need preventative medicine, and we need vets to at least have their hands on your pet doing a physical exam to pick up potential concerns. But if you are holistic minded, which you probably are, if you are here following me or watching this video, you know I'm a holistic vet. I have conventional medicine background, but my business is based around holistic medicine. And if that's the way you want to go with your pet, you need to find a veterinarian that you can partner with that has similar values or respects your values, so that you are able to have a conversation with them and ask them about vaccine titers and ask them about nutrition. And you're not going to feel like they're taking a condescending tone or you're being told that you're a bad pet parent. So that you need to do the research prior to make sure that you have a vet that you feel comfortable with, that you can partner with for life, that can help you. So make sure you do that ahead of time. Really, really important. So do the research ahead of time. Second foundation thing that we need to be looking at is nutrition. So nutrition is the foundation for health. This is what feeds the microbiome. This is what helps the immune system. We have these little puppies that are coming into our lives probably around 8 weeks old. And those little puppies need all the help they can get. And they may be on the best diet. They may even be like on a raw, like transition from mom's milk onto a raw diet, or they're being fed amazing food already, which is fantastic. So you can keep them on that food if that's something that you want to continue. But if they come to you and you're like, they're on puppy chow and you're like, I need to feed something better, we need to make sure that we're transitioning them to the most optimal food. We talk a lot about diet, what's biologically appropriate for a dog. So they have protein requirements. They need the proper nutrition. We don't want to feed them high carbohydrates. And so in terms of with the most appropriate food, we want to feed the freshest meat-based food that you can afford. That's really, really important. And so what does that look like for your budget? Like, are you getting, this comes back to your research. Is that dog, what is the weight of that dog? How big is it? The bigger the dog, the more it costs to feed them. That's just a fact. We did a home cooked diet for our 75-pound German Shepherd, and he was expensive. Like, and it was well worth it. And I would never change a single thing. I wish I had fed him a real food diet from the very beginning. He was on a kibble diet, and I thought I was feeding him a great kibble diet. And that's the one of the things that I would change right away with our next puppy. And so we need to look at that. Your pet might feel fine on that food, on a kibble diet, and it could be a cheaper food. However, problems don't show up until later on in life. And that's the thing we need to be aware of. It takes time for problems to develop. It takes time for things like cancer to form. But if we get them on the right nutrients, the right requirements, the chance of something like that happening is a lot less. And so we need to be looking at, okay, what foods can we feed them a balanced home cooked diet? Keeping in mind puppies have higher calcium requirements. If we unbalance a diet, we can create other health issues. We can create bone problems. We can create limb deformities. There can be all sorts of issues with puppies if we feed them an inappropriate diet. So if you need to feed a kibble diet, just feed the most optimized kibble diet that you can. We have a lot of blog posts about how to analyze your pet's food. What are the things that you need to be looking at in order to know that this food is the best? We have top 5 tips on how to feed your pet the best food. So watch those videos. go to the blog post at thenaturalpetdoctor.com. Check out our YouTube channel. You can go through all those free videos and watch them and learn how to analyze the food and get your puppy on that. Now, when you get your puppy, you want to transition them slowly. They're used to that certain food. Their digestive tract is immature. They may not have all of the good probiotics and things that they need. So slow transition. Don't just do 100% transition to that new diet. So that's really, really, really important. The other things that you can do that go along with nutrition, how do we support the microbiome? Yes, the food we feed, most important, hands down. We need to make sure there's good prebiotics that are feeding that microbiome, those good bacteria, to make sure that their gut health is optimized. You can also put them on colostrum products. So that's the first milk from the mother cow that has really high immunoglobulins, and it's going to help the immune system and reduce inflammation and help that GI lining so it doesn't get inflamed and irritated. We can also use probiotics, so helping to support that microbiome. Check out our last video we did on probiotics, really in depth about the 3 different types, what to watch for, what to look for, some of the different brands that I recommend that are good brands. So make sure you check that out. It's at thenaturalpetdoctor.com. It's free. Watch the video. You can read the blog post also. There's a lot of great resources there. So those are the things that we need to look at. Support the gut health. Feed our puppies the right nutrition, get them set on the foundational units that are going to optimize their health for life. And then the third foundation, environment. So this encompasses a huge thing. So environment, their home environment, the outside environment. Is it stressful? Do they have a peaceful environment? Do they have a place, a quiet place that they can go to? We have to remember puppies are babies. We can't just let them roam freely. They'll get into trouble. They'll chew up things. Potty training can be a nightmare if we do that and we allow them to roam freely. So things to look at when we're looking at environment. So what are the stress levels? Do we have a nice calm place? So we're going to talk about training in a second, but we need to make sure that the toxin level is lower. What are your cleaning products that you're using? Are you using natural cleaning products? Right now, everyone is just bleaching the heck out of everything, right? We're terrified of this virus and we're using bleach. We're using harsh cleaning chemicals, and we need to be transitioning to more natural cleaning products. Would you spray yourself with that product and feel comfortable with it if it accidentally contacted your mouth? That is always my thing, because when we think about our puppies, they're walking on the ground, right? They don't wear clothing usually. They don't have shoes and socks on. They're coming into contact with the cleaning chemicals that we're using. And so if we're putting toxic products on our wood floors when we're cleaning them, that will be absorbed in our pet's paws, or they're going to groom it off. So transitioning to cleaning products. One of the cleaning products I've been using for years that I love, and my house smells like Christmas, and I use it for everything, and it goes such a long way. It is so cost effective. I love it. It's Young Living Thieves Cleaner. And so Young Living is an essential oil company, and Thieves is their blend to take out toxin or take out viruses, bacterial infections. It's like your immune support. And I use Thieves for everything. I've had cats my entire life, and it does not harm them. And it comes in a bottle, and you dilute it in a spray bottle, and it smells amazing. It cleans the toilets, it cleans the floors. You can dilute it however heavily concentrated you want it. I highly, highly recommend it. So definitely check out some of these more natural cleaning products. Myers is a big brand. There's products like Melaleuca that are out there that are more natural. Not only will it help your puppy by avoiding toxins, but it will help you. It'll help reduce your toxic burden. Because when we step outside our four walls, we can't control necessarily that outside of our yard. So spraying chemicals on your yard. What are you using on your grass? We have to remember our puppies are being exposed to these things, and we're potentially setting them up for failure later on. There are so many studies that show that glyphosate or Roundup affect your pet's immune system and can lead to things like cancer down the road. And we need to be aware of that. Just because we can't see these things, we need to know that they're out there. 70% of the water, the world's water supply, contains glyphosate. We are all coming into contact with it. When it rains, it drops on our yard. So we don't want to be adding additional chemicals in. If you need to use flea and tick products, make sure you're waiting until at least 6 months of age, but look at the alternative methods that we have, those holistic options that we have for using essential oils safely. So using things like lavender, lemongrass, rosemary, diluting those and creating mixtures, or using animal EO. They have a great blend called Away that you can spray on your pet. Wondercide is another option. There's a lot of different options that we can use. You can treat nematodes in your yard with natural products to help reduce the burden of worms, like bad parasites and worms. Earthworms are good for your property, don't get me wrong. But we can be looking at, okay, I need to do this. I have fleas in this area. How can I support my pet without putting these chemicals into their body? Heartworm prevention, starting that, checking them at 6 months. And if you need to give that, make sure you need to give that, and giving it once a month, avoiding those longer injections that can come with more serious side effects, and detoxing your pet's body, detoxing your puppy's body when you have to give these things. So it's all about supporting their immune system, reducing the toxic levels in their environment, reducing stress levels, making sure that they feel good. And this leads me into our fourth thing. So training. When we're talking about with training, so we have these puppies, they need stimulation, they're babies, crate training, potty training, socialization. These are all important things. We need to make sure we're fitting their needs. And so one of the mistakes we made with Finn when we first brought him home was we were like, we're not going to crate train. Like, we're going to see how he does. With crate training, have the crate ready. And I like the hard plastic ones because it feels safer. It's more enclosed. It's like a little den for them. And make sure it only fits the puppy's body. You don't want them roaming around, because what will happen is that they'll poop or pee in the corner of the crate. And the thing is that when you're trying to potty train your pet, that can be really difficult. And a lot of people don't realize that the crate is just too big. So they want to stay clean. They can't be in there for longer than usually 5 hours at most overnight. And then also we need to be looking at 20-minute breaks. I usually say anytime a pet, like a puppy, changes motion, so they wake up, they need to go outside, they need to go potty. They eat food afterwards, they need to go to the bathroom. They just finished playing, you need to take them out and go to the bathroom. So these are really important things that you need to do to help them get potty trained, but you can use a crate to help control them, keep them in a safe environment. And it's also nice because when you go away, so if you go out and you need to go run errands, you have a crate that you know that they're safe in. So I love crate training, but I made the mistake that we didn't start it with Finn. And we just had like this little area, and vet student, didn't know it, first puppy, right? My own puppy. And he was a terror. Of course he was. Like, he didn't have any boundaries. Like, there was nothing. And so we eventually, I think we were like 5-6 weeks in. I'm not sure how, I can't remember. It was 12 years ago. But we got a crate, and that made the world of a difference. And yes, it took longer for him to get used to the crate because he'd cry. He's like, why are you putting me in this box? And there's different ways to desensitize them to the crate, feeding them treats, giving them toys, feeding them their food in that crate. So getting them used to it, just closing the door for brief periods of time and helping them like get used to those things. That's really, really important. So you can't like this is key with puppies, with dogs, kittens in general. We have to go slow, just like transitioning food. Like you can't just like, boom, like, okay, my puppy's going to be crate trained. That's not realistic. So we have to get them used to it. They're in a new environment. They're away from their litter mates. They're away from their mom. And they're like, who is this person? Like, this is not my people. And they have to get used to it. So using food as rewards, feeding them, getting them used to it, and making sure that they're getting those 20-minute potty breaks. Now, along with training and puppies, so we're going to start getting into some like a little bit more dicey things. Socialization is key. So if you have friends that have dogs that are healthy, I would say they're vaccinated. I'm going to bring that up in a second. So they're vaccinated. So meaning whether they have titers to show that they are protected, we know they're not sick. They're healthy dogs. They can come and play with your puppy. Like this, your dog needs to get used to being around other dogs, or you may have dog aggression issues later on in life. And we don't want that. You don't want your dog to not like being around other dogs. You want a well-adjusted, happy, stress-free dog for life, correct? That's what I wanted with Finn. I want that for every pet that I see. And so puppy classes are very important. And most of them will require vaccinations for you to be a part of it. And you can wait until they're a little bit later. The hard part with socialization is that our puppies are most moldable during like those 8 to 12, 14 weeks. That's when we can make the biggest impression on them, get them used to weird things, different looks of people. So getting them used to beards, hats, tall people, small people, different colored people, really important, because if they never see a person with a beard, they may be terrified. They just have never been seen. They've never seen that type of person. And it doesn't mean like that they can't be adjusted to that. But if we can show them these different things and get them used to being around other dogs, other people, other situations, scenarios, cars going by, then that's key. That will help them be a more well-adjusted dog later on in life. So puppy classes are really important. So this leads me into the last part, and probably the most controversial area in holistic medicine. And a lot of areas where people are like, I don't like this, and it's uncomfortable, and I'm going to go there. The last foundation, number 5 for your puppy checklist, are vet checks, partnering with a veterinarian. So this is where doing your research ahead of time, interviewing vets. I have people all the time call me and ask, like, they're like, what are your beliefs? I don't do the traditional stuff. So I'm a little bit different because my business focuses on the holistic side. So herbal medicine, nutrition, do acupuncture. So I don't do the vaccines. I don't do the blood work. I don't do x-rays. I don't do the emergency work. But people still want to know and I have people that want preventative care plans. So how do I set up my pet for health, for life? And that's where we talk about vaccine titers, my vaccination recommendations, how I feel about food, how I look at food, how can we support your pet? So people call me and ask me, like, I want to know your belief system before I work with you. And I totally understand it, because you'll get a very wide spectrum. And you want to be able to partner and feel good about going to your vet. Because when you get a new puppy, you need to take them in for an examination. You need to take them to the vet to get checked out, because this is where we do a full exam. And yes, your puppy was probably hopefully looks healthy, feels good, but we're going to feel on the joints. We might pick up that there's some reduced range of motion in the hip joint. We might feel that there's luxating patellas, where those kneecaps pop in and out. We might feel an umbilical hernia, and we can give you advice like, it's small enough. Let's wait until they're 2 years of age. When we spay them, we can fix them and it'll be fine. But these are the things to watch for. Or these are going on in the joints. I don't think it's a problem. Pet will probably be fine. But this is where we can adjust with supplements, nutrition to ensure that they're not growing too fast, things like that. So vets are really important. I promise you, we are not all money hungry and that's all we do it for. It's not. We are here to partner with you to make sure your pet is truly happy, healthy, and going to live a long and healthy life so that you don't have to see the vet all the time. When you see the vet all the time, that means that your pet is sick and it doesn't make anyone happy. It's not a good thing. And so making sure that you feel good and comfortable with your vet is key. Make sure you take your puppy for in. Now you're getting your puppy at 8 weeks. So this goes back to number one, the research. Did that breeder already vaccinate your puppy before 8 weeks of old? You need to be asking your breeders what their vaccine protocols are, because I see puppies be vaccinated at 4 weeks old and I'm like, no, why did you do that? So with vaccines, we're going to touch on this briefly. With vaccines, the mother's milk has antibodies in it. And what happens is when the puppies are feeding, they're drinking the milk. The problem is that it's good. It's providing immunity. But if we give a vaccine, the mother's antibodies are actually blocking that vaccine from doing the thing that it should be doing because we don't need it yet. So there's no point giving a vaccine other than to stimulate your puppy's underdeveloped immune system, to overstimulate it and potentially create a problem down the road. So stop giving vaccines before 8 weeks of age. Now, the thing is that the mother's antibodies are typically present, not all. So this is not 100% or nothing. So this is in general, the majority of puppies still have maternal antibodies present until about 14 weeks of age. 10 to 14 weeks is roughly that age group. So that's why you'll see the normal protocols 8, 12, 14, and then at a year. And or 10, 14, 16. So 16 weeks is when rabies is given legally. And so because the maternal antibodies are blocking those vaccinations, that's why there is this progression. However, there's a huge controversy, which is what we're covering in this month's webinar on vaccines. We're going to be talking about titers. We're going to be talking about maternal antibodies. We're going to talk about no-sodes. We're going to talk about natural immunity, so the holistic approach to vaccines, and what we recommend to protect your pet, because that's key. And all of the different theories and beliefs that are out there, but also the science and what people are saying. So Robert Schultz, Dr. Jean Dodds, there are a lot of great scientists and doctors out there that do not believe in over vaccinating, but vaccinating appropriately and safely. So this is key. If you can wait until 14 weeks of age to give your puppy a vaccination, great, do it. Now you need to keep in mind, parvo lasts for 7 years in the environment. It does. And if we're feeding our pets, our puppies, poor quality food, their immune health isn't strong, they are at more of a risk for picking that up in the environment and getting really, really sick. They can get parvo. Now we have to be aware of that, because I see a lot of people, they're like, no, I want them to develop natural immunity. However, if your puppy's immune system is not strong enough, I guarantee you will be at the vet clinic with parvo disease or distemper because it's in the environment. We have a bunch of raccoons around here where I live. Raccoons carry distemper. It's in the environment. And so we need to be aware of that. Yes, I don't want to over-vaccinate pets. It can lead to autoimmune disease, inflammation, problems down the road. That's a fact. And I see it. I see pets that a month later, they're calling, or their pet parents are calling me because their pet is sick. And I'm like, when was their last vaccination? They had a vaccine a week or 4 weeks ago, and they had it when they weren't feeling well. even vaccine companies say only vaccinate when your pet is well. So if your puppy is not feeling good, has worms or diarrhea, loose stool, anything, is not just feeling well in general, it should not be receiving a vaccination. I don't care if it's technically due for it. We need to be waiting until your puppy feels good. But we need to look at vaccines differently. We need to look at, okay, how can I protect my pet against parvo, distemper, and then rabies? If we can push it to 6 months, push it to 6 months if your vet's willing to do that for you. And we want to split up those vaccines. We don't want to give like 5 vaccines all at once. Is your puppy going to be going to like doggy daycare? Is it going to be going to the dog park? If it's not going to be around a lot of other dogs, or like if your only contact point is walking and coming into a potentially a contact, like a dog sniffing, like one-on-one, think about, does my pet need Bordetella? Does it truly need influenza? So I look at each case and I assess what are the potential risks that can happen if we don't do this. Does this pet truly need it? Do the benefits outweigh the risks? We have to be looking at it like that from our puppy perspective. Finn got like all the vaccines, which wasn't a ton because in New Zealand, they don't have as many diseases as we do. So thank goodness he didn't have a rabies vaccine until he came to the States, which was, I think he was like 7 years old. And so then I had to vaccinate him at that point because they're rabies free country. So that was great. I didn't have to give that. I didn't have to worry about that. But that we'll be talking about titers and what to follow up with, but thinking about these puppies. And that's where it's key to work with a vet that respects your opinions, but also has an open mind and is also believes in titers. And they believe that, okay, yes, you are for protecting your puppy. Like you have their best intentions at hand, but how do we safely do that so that they don't get sick? They don't, if they come into contact with something, they're not going to develop these diseases that then parvo will wreck your puppy's digestive tract. And now it's depleted. The immune system is overstressed. And now we have to build it back up again. So these are really, really important for thinking about, you know, how do we protect our puppies? How do we start them off right? So whether you have a puppy now, or whether you're getting a puppy in 2 weeks and you're hoping to get all the information as much as you can, set yourself up for success, get them started off right. Or you're thinking about maybe getting a puppy next year. What is the information you can do? Follow these 5 steps. You start with your research. What kind of breed works for your pet's family, or what kind of pet, what kind of breed works for your family? What size do you want? Keeping in mind, bigger pets cost more, just a fact. They get sick, medications cost more, food costs more, all those things. So keep that in mind. And then look for the health testing, ask the breeders, interview them, see who fits with your belief system. Like, do you want more of a holistic raised puppy? Are they vaccinating before the 8 weeks of age? Number 2, nutrition, the foundation. What foods do you want to transition them to? Or is the breeder already feeding an amazing food that you want to continue? So do your research. Learn what's best for puppies. Learn what's optimal. Go to our blog post and check out how to pick the best food. What are the top 5 tips for feeding dogs? Like check those all out and do the research. Number 3, the environment. Is the environment set up? Like, what are you using for cleaning? What are you going to use for natural dewormers, natural flea and tick repellents? How can you reduce the stress? Like if you have a bunch of kids running around like crazy that are being homeschooled, does that puppy have like a safe, calm, quiet place that they can go to and rest? Because they need a lot of sleep. So thinking about those things. And then number 4, your training. Crate training, potty training. Is everyone on the same page? Having a family meeting so that everyone's doing the same thing. Because if you can, consistency is key. You all do the same thing, reward the behaviors you want, you ignore or kind of devalue the behaviors you don't want. Your puppy will be a better trained puppy faster, guarantee. And then number 5, find a vet that you can partner with, that you feel good about, that helps, is open at least to your vaccination beliefs, open to hearing the information you bring forward to them. Maybe they're already holistic minded or they're integrative, like what I do. Find that person that you can partner with, because remember, this puppy's going to be with you for potentially 12 to 20 years of the next 10, 20 years of your life. Like, so you need to have a veterinarian that you feel comfortable with. And if you want more information about vaccinations, join our webinar. Register for our webinar. It's at the end of the month. There's a replay if you can't make it live. We're going to be talking about all the hard things, the controversial things. And yes, like it's important. There's so much information out there, and I want you to feel empowered. I don't want you to leave going, I don't know what to do. I'm so confused. I see 5 different things. I see if I vaccinate my pet here, it's going to kill them. What do I do? But I don't want them to get sick. Maybe that sounds like you, right? I read all the things too. I'm like, oh my goodness, no wonder why people are confused. Like there's a lot of information out there. Let me help guide you so that you can work through that information, so you can assess what feels the best to you and what works for your pet's overall optimal health. If you want guides to read through, we have wellness ebooks. They're at thenaturalpetdoctor.com. You can find all these things at our website. We have ebooks that start from puppies all the way to seniors and talk about nutrition, vaccine protocols, natural flea and tick products, supplements, what diseases to watch for. Those are really important things, and they can change through the life of your pet. So there's lots of great resources in that. And we also have a wellness course. If you like watching videos, you can watch all the videos, you can get the ebook, you can do all the things. We have the resources for you. But reach out if you need personalized help or you want a preventative care plan that's individualized for your puppy. Reach out. That's what I do for phone consultations. So you can book those at our website also. So next week, excited. So if you've been with me, you may have actually been through our essential oil webinar that we did, but we're going to be talking about aromatherapy in pets, another hugely controversial topic, but a lot of people are using essential oils in their dogs, in their cats, or a lot of people want to, but are afraid to do it inappropriately, which is justified because pets can get sick when we use these things inappropriately. So next week at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, you can register at our website or the link in the bio if you're, depending on where you're watching this from. And we're going to just touch on aromatherapy, like key things you need to know to keeping your dogs and your cats safe, and bring your questions, because I want to open that up and have that mainly as a like Q&A, because I know a lot of pet parents have questions about that. And then after that, we're going to be covering cats, getting new kittens. So getting those little fluffy bundles of fur and what you need to know about getting kittens and how to help them so that they can live a long and vibrant life alongside maybe your puppy. Maybe you got both. Maybe you're crazy like I am and you just decide to get all the things all at once and just go for it. So, but regardless, I appreciate you being here. Make sure you check out our resources, our blog posts at thenaturalpetdoctor.com. Check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe, like it. It'll spread faster to pet parents like you to help them navigate the world of holistic medicine. So Dr. Katie Woodley, the Natural Pet Doctor, super easy to find. Make sure you subscribe. We post videos 3 times a week there. So free content, all for you guys to help you navigate this crazy world that we are currently living in. So I will see you next week. Have a great rest of your weekend. And thank you again for showing up live with us. Take care.